Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
You're listening to the Chronicles of Living podcast.
Do the damn thing.
Where we talk to visionary dreamers like you about living their best life.
Fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself.
It's time to step into the past, present, and future with an open and healthy mind. Go! Now let's talk.
Greetings, my visionary dreamers. How is everybody doing on Let's Talk Sunday? Today is August the 2nd, 2026. It's crazy, guys. And this is ADionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world, and from some real bullshit. And you are tuned into the Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know it's extraordinary, folks, doing the damn thing the best way we can. And to you newcomers out there, welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. To my veterans, thank y'all for always showing up, popping y'all ears in here and there. So for the newcomers, this show is just a regular talk show. I just come on, I pray before I come on, and I experience what's the word for everybody, including me. So this message is never just for you, my visionary dreamers. It's always for me too, because I get out the way and let spirit say what spirit got to say. So that is basically the bones of the show. We just go with the flow, and I like to come, and the topics are always to let you see life from a different perspective, from a different lens, because, you know, when we in it, and sometimes we just can't see ourselves out of it. And that's just life. That's just how life be life. And so without further ado, and also the format of the show, basically I'm going to talk to you for a while. Then I'm going to pull one of my Conversa cards, which are affirmation cards. Today I'm not going to promote a business because I'm just coming back on, and I'm going to just end the show off with a little meditation just to help you start the week off in some greatness, some great energy. That's the show. So without further ado, today's topic is the root season. Nothing was wasted, or nothing was wasted in the root season. Any way you want to take it, once we finish with this message, this was a message that, of course, came from spirit. So here we go. The root season. Nothing was wasted. And, you know, I've been gone. The last show was in March. And I have been very, very sporadically putting out podcast shows where, you know, the start of the podcast, I was very consistent for probably 7 years or 8 years straight. And then, you know, life happens and seasons change, and, you know, spirit just decides that, okay, you know, we're going to do this in this season. We're going to do that in this season, for the season. And, I thought I turned off the, my bad, my son. Anyway, you know, spirit decides the different things the directions that you are supposed to walk in. A lot of times we think we're in control, but hey, I'm here to tell you these last, I'm going to say, 3 years. Last 3 years of my life has been a whirlwind. And so this is episode 250, guys. 250 episodes of the Chronicles of Living. So if you're new to this, you don't have to just look at the top of the list. Go through, see what title jumps out at you, because trust me, I know that if something jumps out at you, it's a word in there for you. And I always revisit my shows myself. And trust me, it's like there's definitely someone else talking and it's not me. So let's get back. There's been a lot going on and a lot. I've been MIA, for real MIA. And it was good. It was really good. So when you're in your root season, think about it. When you think about the word root, okay? It can equivalent to many aspects in life. And so the thing that's jumping out at me right now is the roots of a seed planted in the ground. And I have maybe brought this up in different shows, the root that's planted in the ground, right? I mean, the seed that's planted in the ground, that's what's going to create the root. But the only way it can create the root is if it's first in darkness, if it's first under the dirt, under the mud, under the just nothing. No one can see this little tiny seed. No one can see it, but the person that planted it, they know where that seed is. And maybe after a while, it might shift location and they may be watering in the area. You get it? In life, that's what happens to us. We can be just going and living our lives and just, on autopilot. As I said, on one of my shows, we can be on autopilot because as we grow up in life, that's what it becomes most of the time. We go by what we see. We go by what we believe it is supposed to be, in life, that our surroundings, our family, our friends, as we're growing up as a baby, that's all we know, right? That's all we know. That's all we see. So that's how we learn how to do everything. That's how we learn how to eat. That's how we learn how to talk, walk. That's how we learn what way to talk, attitude, when to be angry, when to be sad, when to cry, when to laugh. Because as we're growing up, we have to have something to go by, right? Unless we're just out there in the wilderness, then what are we going to do? We're going to mimic the animals, right? Wherever we are, as we're growing, we're going to mimic what we see until we get to the point of evolving into who we came here to be, until we are willing to take on that task to evolve in who we came here to be. And I say it that way because, we can sometimes get caught up in a comfort zone. And that comfort zone becomes everybody else's life but yours. You're walking in a way that everybody else has been living, that the way that you have been taught from generation to generation to generation, and this is the thing that shapes our reality. Generations, what was learned and passed on to us, right? That's who we can become if we do not allow our own roots to grow. If we don't allow that time of darkness, that time of being in darkness, and whatever season of your life the darkness come. And the darkness can come in so many different ways. Yet, I'm here to tell you that and this is going to sound really, really crazy, if you were ever blessed to be in darkness, be honored. I'm honored that I was in darkness for the last, I'm going to say 3 years of my life. And some may say that know me and that have seen me through these last 3 years. Like, how is that so? Okay, you had a shop, you had this, that, and the other going on, right? Yet, now, where I am now, my mentality, how I view life, how I view my journey, I can say that even though I was operating in the light and I was, running my business, Regenerating Me, Crystal Salt Lounge, had the commercial building and then brought it to the house and did it more intimately as a homestead. And in my eyes, in that time of season, I was serving people, helping them to heal from the inside out. That was my mission. That was my purpose in that season, right? And yet, while I was in that season of serving others, and every season is a season of serving others. I'm serving right now. I'm using a strength that I was gifted with that some may say is like too much. Talking, the gift of talking, right? And I'm applying it to a podcast platform, and I am purposely using my gift of talking a lot to help bring joy, laughter, to help bring inspiration, encouragement to people on the other side that's listening to me talk. And you can choose to turn it on, turn it off, whenever you want. You could choose to click off. You could choose to not have the patience to hear the message because maybe the beginning started slow. But, when you don't practice that patience, again, that time of growth, that time for the root to evolve into its fullness. In this way, I'm talking about the show. So look at this as being a seed, right? This show is a seed. This particular show, episode 250 on the Chronicles of Livin podcast show, the root season, nothing was wasted. This is a seed, right? That Spirit has chose to plant through me to you, to your ears, to your spirit, to your soul, to your heart. Because words have power, right? Whether you want to use them in a bad way or a good way, words have power. And how those words affect you is going to be up to you. So when I go back and I say that, people can look at and say, well, how was your last 3 years darkness? It's not darkness in a negative way. People equivalent when you say, oh, you were in darkness, that's negative. Oh, thank you, Spirit. So Spirit just showed me a film strip, right? You know how back in the day we had you take your pictures with the camera and now things have evolved with the cameras and you put the USB in, but and they still have some cameras where you gotta, of course, you develop the film, right? You develop the negative film that you took these memories and these shots, these pictures of people and of environments and beautiful things that you are now have. Back in the day, I used to have to go into like a CVS or something and drop my camera off so they can develop the negative, right? Because that negative was dark. You couldn't see. You could see like these little images, right? But you had to wait for that negative to be developed in the darkness. You get what I'm saying? That's another seed. That's another form of a seed that's being planted because you took those photos. You took those. It was a reason why you took those shots. You thought that taking a picture of grandmom and auntie and cousins and let's come on, y'all move together, get in the picture together. Let's, the picture of the flower that was growing that was so beautiful and you was walking past, and now you have to wait to see how this person that's working in a dark room if they're going to develop it to its full capacity, if it's going to be underdeveloped where the picture becomes blurry, because if you remember, and I'm sure if you listen to the show, you can remember back then, hopefully. If you remember, sometimes you could go pick up your negatives, you could go pick up your pictures, and whoever was behind developing them didn't do such a great job, right? And now your negatives are ruined. And now it's like you may have like a couple of pictures that came out and really was like to what your liking really was, but the rest of them was like kind of dead, right? Listen, y'all, spirit be talking. I don't know where this show be going. But I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the words. I'm feeling it, because the whole thing is looking at looking at the conversation from a different perspective. So now you get your pictures back, right? And they were developed in the dark. You didn't know it was in this little box, this little tiny handheld box that you had these beautiful pictures come out. These beautiful memories that you can put in a picture book back in the day, and every time holidays come along, you can go back and you can look and you can say, oh, remember this day, remember this time. And you can think about the joy that time stamp brought you, right? That's going backwards. Because that was a root. That was a seed, that grew up into a root. And now if you fast forward past the negative being developed, past the pictures that didn't come out so great. Maybe the pictures didn't come out so great because maybe that wasn't the photos that Spirit wanted you to focus on. Maybe it was meant for you to go back and, wait for the next time that the family gets together and take the pictures again. We never know. Yet, if we choose to focus on being upset because the negatives that you were believing that you wanted to see to come out in this perfect way, if you focus on the fact that they did not come out the way you wanted them to, and you forget about the pictures that did come out the way you wanted to, that brought you joy, that brought you happiness, that shaped the memories of your family from years to come, you lose sight of the blessing in it all. You lose sight of that moment in time. Because you're so fixated on what didn't work, what didn't come out the way you expected it to come out. Maybe that wasn't the focus, right? And so I'm going to connect that with the reason why I said, I feel like the last 3 years of my life has been a seed that Spirit planted and grew into roots for my life, for my evolution. Because while things started turning for me, for those, I've been MIA because a lot of stuff has happened. I can't share it all in this one show, but I will let it drip in different shows. Yet, a lot of stuff happened and I wound up having to shift and put regenerating me on pause, right? But while putting regenerating me on pause, a lot of things happened. I had a flood in my house. My water heater burst right when I was about to start regenerating me and get the legs going again in my homestead, right in the middle of a client sitting in the salt room, comes out, water heater burst. And I'm sitting there like, I didn't know that it was the water heater that burst. But all I knew was that we walked out into some water, right? Now, again, when we talk about nothing is wasted, when we talk about the root season. It was a part of my root season because I had just left my commercial property and brought everything to my house. Now, while I was bringing everything to my house, I'm replanting again. I'm setting the seeds again, right? I'm watering the seeds and redeveloping a new version of Regenerating Me. And listen to the title, Regenerating Me. Each time it's regenerating not just the people that were coming for the service, but it's regenerating me because it's helping me to shift every time. Shift your energy. Okay, look, the lease is up. You moving. Now, how are you going to allow this version of Regenerating Me to evolve? What are the steps you're going to take? How are you going to allow the service to evolve from a home? Because now it's not public, What are you going to do? So while in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I have the master plan. I want to do this membership and I want to do it private and all of this stuff. And I'm decorating and I'm rebuilding and all of this. And then I get to the core day and, few clients in, it didn't happen right away. It was, some people started coming and everything, but it just happened to happen around this time. And then the flood comes. Right? Now the business is kind of underwater, so to say, literally. I don't know where the water's coming from, but I had an opportunity right at that moment. The choice. Am I going to be angry? Am I going to be upset? Am I going to let it get in the way of the service of this particular client at that time? And I chose to laugh it off and say, wow, I thought it was my dehumidifier leaking. I took the plug out and I was like, hey, let's finish up the session. I stayed calm, right? And she stayed calm. And we went upstairs and we finished up the session. And greatness came out of that session for her. She had a great breakthrough, a breakthrough that she hadn't had in years. And, I don't get into everybody, stuff, but it was good for her, which made it good for me, right? And then there was another person that was scheduled. And this was the same weekend that I was changing my phone number and going to a new provider. So now my phone acting wonky and I'm not getting messages out. So I couldn't warn that client. And there she was at the door. Now the house is still flooding downstairs. Because I don't know. It's the water heater. Long story short, she comes in. I explained to her, look, it's flooding. Do you want it? She's like, hey, she's cool with it. And we walk past the water. I'm thinking that I shut everything off and it stopped. And we go out on a patio. And now here's another conversation. Again, I could have chose to stop and address and get upset and cancel and tell her, no, we're going to reschedule. But I asked her, what does she want to do? I removed the whole outcome, the reality of what was. And I focused on my purpose. And I know to a lot of people, that is very challenging to do. Yet that shows that the roots were growing within me. The roots are regenerating me. Because the old me would have stopped. The old me would have been like, oh no, it's too much water. And, maybe might have felt some type of way or, not angry, but like, wow, I don't want somebody coming here like this. But the evolving me was like, it's up to you. And we had a great conversation on a patio, looking out. It was a nice day. It was beautiful. She left. I go back in and it's more water. Now it's going into the salt room because the salt room is down there. So now I still don't panic. I went upstairs and I grabbed me some wine. I grabbed me some wine. It was like maybe, I don't know, it was the afternoon. Grabbed me some wine, took my little glass, and I went on out there on my patio and I sipped my wine. And I was like, okay, Spirit, where's the water coming from? Now that no more clients were coming, where is this water coming from? And as I'm sipping the wine, I get two unexpected visitors because remember, my cell phone wasn't working. I get two unexpected visitors checking on me because they're concerned. One of my clients and one of my besties. And they're like, you okay? We didn't hear from you. The phone, So that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I'm like, I'm fine. But there's some water coming, but I'm okay. So they left. Went back on the patio. Sat still calm. Spirit, where's this water coming from? And I heard, check your water heater. Just as calmly, I went in there. And of course, water gushing all out the water heater. So now I shut all the water down in the house. So from that point on, it was like, okay, I took almost a year. I planted, this seed of redoing the whole shop in the house and giving it a whole new journey in my eyes. That's where I believed the journey was supposed to go. I believed it was supposed to pick up from where I started, right? That wasn't it. And so at that point, I knew there was something else, another season that was supposed to happen, yet I did not know what it was. So we can get frustrated, right? When things happen that's out of our control and we've done everything that we can do to believe, we have control. But let me tell you, the universe will let you know it is not your plan. It is mine, right? As the word said, my plans are always going to be better than your plans. So I speed up to now because there's so much I could share because so much more happened that weekend. So many, how can I say, so many more disruptions, so many more tests happened within that weekend. And I'll save that for another show. Yet, that was when I knew I was about to walk into a new season. And so to the newcomers that's listening, when I do these talks, I go wherever spirit wants me, whether it's a metaphor, whether it's using experience from my life, from anybody else's life to get the different perspective across to you so that you can look at something in your life and you can start weighing it and start looking at it in a different light. That's my purpose. That's what I'm here to do. So now I can speed up a little bit more. It became really dark for me because I didn't know what I was supposed to do because clearly I thought my path was to continue with regenerating me. I'm thinking, well, God, I'm serving people. Like I'm doing this for the good of helping people heal through you, not through my power, for however you want me to do it. Yet, when I speed up to today, God wanted me to just pull back and start regenerating me again. As people always ask, okay, you pour out to so many, but who pours into you? And I'm sure that there are many out there that can relate to that. You pour. And while that was making me satisfied, I love to see joy on everybody else's face. I love to make people happy. I love to make people smile. Yet sometimes you can get lost in that and you can forget about your smile. You could forget about the thing that you are really and truly passionate about. You can kind of push that to the back burner. And anybody that has children or husband, wife, or anything, any type of intimate relationship, I'm sure you can relate. Because once you have someone else in the mix, you're not just pouring into yourself. You have to make them seeds, bloom within the relationship, right? So you can just be on autopilot and not even know what it is that you need for yourself. And so in this time, of me putting the company on pause and everything, because I knew clearly at that point, this is not what I'm supposed to do. So let me be still. Let me just do, whatever comes. And there were a lot of tears. There were a lot of days of, what is this? What am I doing? This and any other. But then, and I work at not making the podcast long, but I can't stop until spirit stop. So, but then out of nowhere, after, certain jobs didn't work out, I decided, okay, let me get a job. Let me get a work from home job. I had to let go of 2 vehicles. So now I don't have a vehicle. I'm in a rural area, but I was okay with that part because I think I needed a break. And I felt like that was the mission, that God wanted to strip me of everything that I can utilize to have a certain control. When you have a vehicle, you could get up and go at any time, right? And yeah, we have Uber and all of those type of things, but now you're on that time. You're on the Uber's time. You get what I'm saying? You got to schedule things. But when you have a vehicle right sitting outside your house, you can get up and go anytime you want. Somebody calls you, hey, come here. Like, okay, I'm on my way. Now, God took away all of that, all of those, means to be able to connect instantly with people, to be able to say, okay, I'll be there, to be that person that's always saying, all right, I'm there for you. God stripped me of that and made me sit my ass still. And at that moment, of course, you don't see it. You just like, because you're so used to having control over your life and getting to do the things that you want to do when you want to do it. You don't see it as a way of just, God just wants you to be still and listen. Listen to the next season. Listen to the seeds and receive the seeds that Father God wants to plant within you to blossom and to bloom in your next season. Because you're going on a different path. You're going on a different journey. And it's not to say that the past journey is not a part of that, or the past missions are not a part of that. Yet, if you don't allow roots to grow, you can never evolve and grow into this beautiful thing that you are sent here to be, that you came here to be, because you'll become stagnant. You'll become stuck in that autopilot. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is my mission. This is my company. This is what. So when you look at things like when COVID happened, when different crashes happen, when even with this, current year, how people just got fired out of nowhere, no warning. You've been at your job for 25 years, whatever. You thought this was your retirement, and the rug was just torn from under you. And now you're in darkness, or you was in darkness. And now, because that was all you knew, you had the master plan. I'm going to retire from this job, and I'm going to do this when I retire. I'm going to vacation here, and I'm going to, or some people just chill and never do nothing else. That was, if you can just take a moment and sit back and look at any time, and rather you're in that season of darkness right now, and as you're listening, because most likely there's something got a seed and some roots that need to grow, and maybe you're not allowing it to grow. Maybe you keep checking on it. If a farmer, this is a saying I've heard, and I can't remember who I heard it from, but if a farmer decided that those seeds that the farmer planted, whether it was vegetables, fruit trees, or flowers, if the farmer went and dug it up every couple weeks, right? Let me check on it. Let me dig the dirt. Let me see how big it is. Let me see if some roots grew. The fruit would never become. The vegetable would never become. The tree would never grow, because it wouldn't have time to grow the roots, because the farmer keep messing with it, right? Now I might be adding a little bit more, but this was the summary of it. The farmer, if the farmer keeps messing with it, it never, and as a matter of fact, if the farmer keeps messing with it, it may die before it even grow any roots. So I'm here to tell you that if there is something that you're dealing with right now in your life that you feel like is darkness to you, know that you are blessed. Know that you should be excited, because if you are willing to just ask the question, okay, God, okay, Spirit, whoever you pray to, hopefully it's something good. What is it that you want me to learn in this season? What is it that you're trying to teach me? What is it that you need me? What area do you need me to grow in? What roots are you trying to allow to evolve within me, out of me? What journey do you want me to move into? What path do you want me to walk? If you are willing to take a moment and sit with yourself, not just for a day, but day after day, and ask them questions, even if it's in frustration, even if it's in tears, even if it's, whatever. But you take that time for yourself. You take out some paper and a pencil, pen, and you write and you date it and you ask the question. You sit still and you just write whatever comes out. I guarantee you, it will all start coming to the forefront. You will start seeing the roots. You will start seeing the branches. You will see how things are supposed to be connected. There are so many projects within this so-called dark season that Spirit has, and I'm saying it so excitedly because now that I feel like I'm in a light season. I feel like, my roots have grown, and I see how all the roots that have been growing in the darkness for me in this past season is forming into this beautiful tree. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Spirit had me doing project after project after project. And I just didn't understand it, right? In this past 2 years, I didn't understand why Spirit had me creating these things, right? Yet now they're done. Like now I can release, not just can release them, I've been releasing them, I was able to create a whole collection of cards, and I've been talking about these cards, but I was able to complete them, and not just that, start Kickstarter campaign, but it just not just that. It's so many things that I had such a love and a passion for that I put on a back burner. My music and things of that nature has come back up to the forefront. And I'm going to leave some links in the description, and I'll just let you go discover them for yourself. I'm not even going to, but I'm excited. I'm so freaking excited about this new season in my life. I'm so glad And it's a better word I want to use because I words can't describe, but I'm glad that I listened. I'm glad that I changed my number of 25 years to allow spirit to just allow people to fall away that's not meant to go on my next journey, that's not meant to walk on the path. You know what I'm saying? I just allowed people to fall away that wanted to fall away. And that's not to say that, you know, I love every experience that I've had in my life. Rather it might have ended negative or good, whatever. Yet it allowed me to evolve as a person. It allowed me to learn more about myself. It allowed me now the way I am, I pause. It's just so many. I can see the growth within me. I can see the growth. And if you will allow spirit to just allow you, just take the moments to be still. When things are not going your way, don't fight it. Don't let it go. When people are not making you feel good, and I'm not going to say making you feel good because nobody is in control of your happiness but you. Let's just get that clear, right? Yet when you leave people and all of a sudden your energy is drained, or you don't feel good about yourself, yet you continue to stay connected with those people. You continue to, when people are not acknowledging your value, your worth, and you continue to stay connected, you continue to want to prove yourself, that type of thing, right? And sometimes we do that unconsciously. Sometimes it's just, in us, and we just do it and we don't even realize that we're doing that until spirits start dislocating people, until spirits start removing people. And then you have a chance to start seeing like, wait a minute now, wait just one cotton picking minute. I don't believe that I tolerated all of that for that amount of time from that particular person. I don't believe that I devalued my worth for that person. And it's not about that person. Hear me when I say it's about you. You choose to show up how you show up each and every day for each and every individual that you connect yourself with or that wants to connect themselves to you. You choose to react. And because you choose to react in certain ways, you get the certain results, right? Rather they're bad, good, however you want to look at it. Nothing bad is bad. Anything that you view as bad is a way of you learning more about yourself. Now, I get it. There are some things that are totally out of control that can happen to us, yet we still choose how we want to move forward from that thing that could have happened to us, right? We choose how we want to move forward. We choose how much we want to allow it to play around like a record in our head. We make that choice to bring that feeling back to the forefront, because anything that feels bad to you, anything that's happened to you in the past that you continue to talk about, that you continue to rehearse, that you continue to, it's bringing it back as if it's happening right now. And therefore, you're not allowing new roots to grow. So let the roots grow. Let the new roots grow. Let the rotted roots rot away. You know how some trees' roots can be rotted, in certain areas? Let them cut away. It's just like you cut a plant and it's, the certain part that goes bad. Allow it to just cut away. Allow it to just, you cut it away. Allow your root season to be a prosperous one. To be one that excites you. Because nothing will stay the same. Everything changes. It's inevitable. Just like the seasons change every year, the trees die, the flowers die, the grass die. And then guess what? Next season comes around and here they are all over again, flourishing, looking beautiful. It's the same thing with us. We have our seasons that we have to just die to ourselves. Just gotta let it go. You know, if you don't see any growth, then it's time for you to let that part of your season go. Let it go and be open to the new. A lot of people are scared of the new. A lot of people don't like change. And it's unfortunate because when you don't allow change to come, you never get a chance to learn the fullness of who you are. You never get a chance to learn the fullness of your true existence, what you're here to do. And it's sad because the people that you were supposed to meet, the assignments that you have came here to do will not get done. It won't happen. And it will go to the grave with you. And therefore, people that you were assigned to have a certain conversation, rather it was just in passing, that person that felt horrible about themselves all their life because maybe they grew up in a family that told them they was stupid, they was ugly, they was dumb. And that one day that you were meant to maybe go to a place, but you don't want to go to the place because rather it be go travel to a different state or whatever like that. And you were supposed to, in that moment, in a store, a Walmart, walk past somebody and say, hey, you look so beautiful today. I really like your outfit. Your hair looks nice. You know, just one pleasant word. You don't understand how that one statement can change the mentality of somebody, because you're a total stranger and you said something to them that you didn't know they never heard in their life. That's how powerful words are. That's how powerful the roots of who we are supposed to evolve into can become. And so it's getting late, I know. And it's my first podcast back. So I don't want, newcomer. Oh my gosh, she's talking too long. I had people that say it was too short. I was just getting into it. But my prayer is always that you apply whatever hits you out of any of my shows, that you apply it to your life in the area, or that you ask spirit first. How does this apply to me? How does this show apply to me? Especially if you listened all the way to the end. How can I utilize these words, this talk, and apply it to my life? What is it that I can do? How can I change, some things about myself? Ask. Because sometimes we think it's one thing and it's not. Your story is not mine. Mine is not yours yet. We are all connected, and therefore there's always going to be something that you can relate to in a different way if you are open and receptive. So with that being said, I'm going to pull a card from my Visionary Dreamer deck. And let's see what comes out for us. I'm just picking up the card and just pulling one out. Let's see what. Oh, I like that. Okay, this is a deck that I created in 2021. That Spirit told me a year before I was going to be making my own decks of cards. And and so here it is. So the number is 39. This is the Visionary Dreamer I Am Extraordinary deck. And the message is, I am only in control of my words, thoughts, attitude, actions, and energy. OMG. Spirit is a trip. Isn't that just the basis of this show? I am only in control of my words, thoughts, attitude, actions, and energy. Now listen, that was just confirmation. It's confirmation. You're in control. As I was saying through the show, there were many moments in that dark season that I could have lost it. I could have flipped. I could have balled up in the corner. And you know what was so powerful, right? One of my sister friends said to me just last week, because, I'm on a whole different path right now. But we had a conversation and she was like, I just want to say to you, I'm so proud of you because she knew everything that was going on, right? She said, out of everything that went on, you didn't change who you were. You didn't get upset. You didn't change. You wasn't evil. You wasn't, you didn't allow it to change who you were. The stuff that you went through, like the little stuff, could have took somebody over the edge, basically, she was saying. I know it would have took a lot of people over the edge. And my mother said the same thing to me many occasions because she know everything that I went through in these last couple years. And she was like, I have a strong daughter. She keeps saying, I have a strong daughter. And, that makes me feel good. It was fueling me through the moments, through the shifts. And now I can honestly say, I was saying to the same sister friend that I realized that I'm on a different timeline, as they say right now. Last weekend, I watched The Matrix. It kept being on my heart. I don't know if you know the movie The Matrix, but I watched all 3 movies back to back. That first movie came out in 91. I was 21 years old. So back then it was entertainment to me. Now that I'm, maybe 30 years later, I'm evolved. I'm more awake. I'm more, observant. I'm more intentional about when I watch a movie, when I hear a message or whatever like that. OMG. I got so much out of it. So much out of it. And I realized that I am literally on, as they say, a new timeline right now. Mentally, physically, just my soul, my spirit, just the way I react, the way I think, the way I look at things. And I never was a mean person unless you took me there. Then you got the North Philly side of me. Yeah, even that part of me, I'm gonna say spirit has tainted that side of me as well. Things that might have annoyed the shit out of me, irritated me, or whatever from a person. Does it still touch me and pull a cord? Yes, it does. Yet I have learned to not allow it to be personal to me, but yet look at the person and say, wow, yeah, they got some growing to do. I still have growing to do. No one's perfect. Yet I can acknowledge now the areas that I have evolved. I can acknowledge now the roots that have been growing, within me. And because of that, and like I say, when I'm talking about me, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to whatever your darkness and your, the roots that you can allow to evolve within you. So always know it's not about me, but I only can talk about my stories sometimes and the stories of people that I'm connected to. That's what this show is about. Just looking at life in a different light. And that's what it's about. So you're the only one. You can only be in control of you. You cannot control nobody else. So don't throw nothing at the TV when you see the news and you see certain folk, just stop watching it. I don't watch the news. Stop watching the things that really raise your blood pressure. You do create your reality. You truly do. And I know now in full what that means. I knew it before, but I really know it now. We really do create our own reality. Nothing is real unless you make it real. And your life will evolve in a way to all the things that, and I might have said this wrong, but basically, what you give your attention to the most becomes your life. If you are a person that constantly, watch the news over and over, your nervous system is going to be shit. Because the news is a program. Tell lie vision, tell a lie to the vision, television can be a lie. You watch programs that program the way you think, the way you react, the way you take action. If they say it's going to rain, now what you're going to do? You're going to, okay, let me grab an umbrella. Some people may be like, I'm not going out. Some people may have something great, event that they were supposed to be at and meet a certain person, but because they said it was going to rain, you don't go. Because the news said it's going to rain. And then guess what? Sometimes it don't even rain. Now you just didn't go to that event and you didn't meet that person that could have been something very instrumental in your life going to another level. That's how deep it is. That's how deep it is. So think about those things, guys. Whenever someone gets all your panties all in a bunch, as they say, ask yourself, why? Why am I allowing this person to get my panties all up in a bunch? What is it about what they did, what they said, how they said it, their voice tone? Sometimes some people voice tone can just tick you off. Like, ugh. Ask yourself, how is it that I can do better within me to not allow, if this was to happen again through a new person, that it won't affect me? How is it that I can evolve from those type of reactions? So nothing is wasted, right? Nothing. No job loss, no relationship loss, nothing is wasted. It's up to you to decide how you're going to let your roots grow, how you're going to evolve in this time, space, and reality. It's up to you. So with all that being said, I'm not even going to do a meditation, because if I'm going to get this podcast uploaded on time, because I'm pre-recording, that was another thing, the platform I signed up for, they then stripped away all of these things. So I had to, at the last minute, figure out how I'm going to record the show. And I could have made the choice to say, nope, I'm not going to do it this week again. Yet, if you could see my setup, you would be like, yes, she is letting her roots grow, because I'm literally like, this is just not the ideal setup to do a podcast recording. But yeah, I'm making it happen anyway. So I'm going to get off of here. And I just want you to take a deep breath in, since, time is of the essence. And just think for a minute. Go to one of your happy moments in your life, whether it was a kid, teenager, adult. First thing that comes to you that make you smile, just go to that moment for a minute. See that version of you. Smile with that version of you. Take a deep breath and breathe out. Get back to that happy version of you. Let your roots grow. And that's the show for today. Nothing is wasted. The root season. Now, I don't know how this title going to come out, but we'll see. But that's the means of the title. I love you guys so much. And check the links below in the description, and go visit the different websites and see what I've been up to these last 2 years in my development season, and my negative development season, my photo memory development season. Has been great. And I pray that you enjoy the different projects that Spirit allowed me to create in this time of allowing the seeds to grow and bloom, and my roots to grow. And I'm praying that you allow yours to grow too. So wherever you listen to this podcast on, please definitely give me like, follow, share it, stars, all that stuff. I forget that. I hope you're still listening. I forget all of that, but definitely share it. Someone else may need to hear this and look at things from a different perspective for themselves. I love you guys, my visionary dreamers. Take care of yourself, okay? Love on yourself. Remember that you are more than enough. You really are. And don't you ever let nobody treat you or tell you other than that. Until next time, this is ADionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world, from some real bullshit. And this is the Chronicles of Livin podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. It's extraordinary folk doing a damn thing the best way we can. Until next time, peace.
The Chronicles of Livin.
We can be whatever we dream.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Chronicles of Livin podcast, where you find only the highest vibrations. Remember, you are extraordinary. And if you're pursuing your dreams, we're proud of you. Because the best part of life is when you decide to live.
Something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it.
Stay updated with ADionne by visiting chroniclesoflivin.com, or stay connected through social media by following @Chronicles of Livin. Until next time, your dream pusher, ADionne.